You are new or even experienced in the prediction markets space, this is a video for you. In this video, we're not only going to cover exactly how to find the markets that you have an edge in personally, because I may be privy to a certain category, but everyone's edge is going to be different. So I'm going to go over exactly how to find your edge, accounts and traders to follow to see their trading tendencies, as well as some tools and softwares that you can use to get ahead and utilize information from previous events to utilize in your advantage and in your favor in future prediction markets. If you are a beginner or an expert, like I said, this is still a video for you. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
Before we get started today, guys, as always, like the video down below and subscribe to the channel for more. Every single week here on In the Game, we have you covered 5 times a week with everything you need to know across crypto and prediction markets. And of course, a big shout out to the sponsor, our official prediction market sponsor here on the channel, and that is Kalshi. I mean, Kalshi is the fastest growing company probably in the entire world at this point in time. I mean, they have literally grown in valuation tenfold. The prediction market space is going absolutely crazy and becoming mainstream. And we have an incredible offer for you down below. If you live in the US, you can deposit and trade $10, and Kalshi will also give you $10 on top of that. So if you want to follow along the journey on prediction markets here on the channel, you can sign up for Kalshi down below in the description. Now, let's go ahead and jump into it. How can you find your edge in prediction markets? So as I said, in this video, we're going to go over how to find your edge and how to stick to that niche. Also, ways to grow your portfolio with, starting with a small bankroll potentially and growing that up in size, and also tools and softwares to help you get an edge in certain market categories. Also, accounts to follow for solid, sharp information. So that's what we're going to give you in today's video. And also, I do want to preface that obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. I am just trading these markets just like any other person out there. So I have to give that disclaimer. But let's go ahead and dive into it. I mean, first of all, finding your edge. I think as an individual, we all get drawn into wanting to try to trade everything, okay? For me, I'm a big sports fan. I feel like I keep up with music, entertainment, TV, movies, whatever the case is. I'm a big business advocate, so you kind of feel like you want to trade all these different things, but that's definitely not the case. You need to find out a couple of different niches that you really like and you're willing to stick to, because I can guarantee you, if you spread your wings too far, you're not going to make it that far. And that's just with everything, right? It's like in crypto. We talk about crypto here on this channel all the time. And the one thing about crypto and trading is you can't be an expert in AI, gaming, DeFi, privacy, Bitcoin, L1s, L2s, security layer. You cannot be an expert in every single niche. And if you try to monitor every single coin in the market, try to long and short everything from AVAX to down the ladder to different coins, whatever the case is, you will not be able to find an edge. Real edges come from narrowing down your selections, knowing what you're good at, and not getting drawn into quote unquote suckers markets, right? Where you see a market, it looks flashy, you feel like you want to get involved in it. That's how you regress on your bankroll, okay? We want to grow our bankroll whenever it comes to prediction markets. You need to treat this as if it's investing, as if it's trading, because it is, okay? You can find advantages in these markets. So that's first and foremost. And so if you are, let's just say TV this last week, there was a market on, Kalshi and Poly market, and the market was if Stranger Things, how long it's going to be #1 on Netflix. And that's a really intriguing market. Stranger Things is super popular. But if you were really sharp in the entertainment space, you would have known that the P. Diddy documentary was coming out, and it actually eclipsed Stranger Things on the charts immediately. And a lot of people didn't see that coming, right? So you can find an edge there. Spotify trending charts. If you if you follow along with stream numbers on Spotify, you can actually make money on Kalshi because you have an advantage in that market. If you follow politics, if you watch different speeches from Trump, if you follow sports, you can find your edge. So figure out what you're into and stick to it and dig deep into those markets. It sounds simple, but at the same time, when I first got into prediction markets, just like when I first got into crypto, I wanted to try everything, you know? But after a while, you figure out what you're good at. You figure out what you're losing money at. Like longing and shorting in crypto, I'm not a big leverage trader. I don't find that long term that has been positive for me, right? I am a spot trader whenever it comes to crypto. Same thing with prediction markets. I've figured out, and if I go to my profile here, the beauty of Kalshi and some of these other platforms is it's all public ledger. So just like in crypto, when it's on chain, you can see data from every trader. So as you see here, I am a profitable Kalshi trader at this point. I'm up $1,200 all time. I've done $52,000 in volume. And really, I only started in October. So this is something I want to scale up. We're trying to work up to a $10,000 profit. That is kind of the challenge that I am on without having to redeposit. So that's the journey we are currently on at this point in time. And I've done 262 predictions, but you need to use your profile page as an advantage. You can go to your top categories and you can see, wow, okay, let's just look at my numbers specifically. I'm terrible at politics and culture. Like I lost some Grammy or country music award. I should never have touched that market. Okay, I'm a Morgan Wallen fan. I thought his album should have won Album of the Year, but they didn't think so. And I burned some money on that market for no reason. Impulse, right? Dancing with the Stars. I should not have ever put money on something like that, right? So you're gonna have these tendencies to go into things that you think you might have an edge in, but you don't. And I would just implore you, stay away from anything that's just garbage as far as your knowledge set. So politics, I'm down $145. Culture, I'm down almost $400. Crypto, I'm up $6. I probably should trade more crypto markets as far as Kalshi, you know, given that that's the industry that I'm in, but I use this out for other reasons than crypto. You know, I'm not on Kalshi to just do crypto markets at the end of the day. Social, I'm up $2. Companies, I'm down 16. Now this would be like, you know, different markets regarding what a company is going to do or something like that. Sports, I'm up $1,570. And then mentions, I am up $200. Those are the two that I have really found an edge in, as far as I like to delve in sports markets and I like to delve into Trump speeches and also commentation on different football or sporting events, what they're going to say. And if you're privy to these markets and you pay attention to political agendas, the economy, and you watch Trump speeches or you watch football or basketball, whatever the case is, and you know some of the stuff going on with the teams, you can really find an edge in these markets. So that's what I've been doing. If we just go over to my portfolio, we can see here, I'll go to history. So yesterday, for example, we were able to capitalize on Trump during the FIFA World Cup draw, and we hit 4 out of 5. And I actually posted these on Twitter. So if you're not following me on Twitter, we only do a couple of prediction market videos and streams every single week here, but I post a lot of my plays as far as the prediction market space on Twitter. So definitely shoot me a follow over there. But back to the portfolio here, we can just take a look. And then a few days before that, I hit all 4 of his, mentioned markets with his meetings with the presidents of Rwanda and the Congo. And then also we did hit on the live stream, the fake news play the other day. So I have won 8 of my last 9 on Trump, mention markets. And the reason for that is utilizing tools and also paying attention to previous transcripts. And you might be saying like, how can I do that? Where do you find transcripts for previous, political speeches or whatever the case? You can actually utilize tools that have been made by other people in the communities of Kalshi, Polymarket, whatever the case, and you can get an edge. Number one, to me, mention metrics. This is a great one. You do have to it is a paid subscription if you want to use this like every day for different words. But I'm just going to keep it really simple here. We're going to go with the word Biden. We are going to choose Donald Trump on the filter. There we go. Donald Trump. We're going to select all categories, so all of his speeches. And number of mentions, just one. That's all we need to see. How often does Trump say Biden in speeches? And on average, he says it about 2.6 times per speech. So, of his number of speeches, you can see here how many times Donald Trump is speaking, and you can load more. And you can load more. And the amount of times that he says Biden by category in interviews, remarks, and speeches, he says it quite a bit. He said it over 250 times over the course of these. And yes, of the percentage of speeches, he has said Biden in 51% or 74 of his last 144 speeches. That is a pretty good edge if you want to take advantage of the word Biden. Let's also just say, he does like to say China. So we're going to go China, add. And he has said China on average about 2.3 times per speech, right? And it says last mention was on the 2nd. So you can actually type this in for any given word on any Trump mention market. And I know he has a last minute speech today. So I'm just going to actually pull up that market and let's look at the options. This is just an example. I'm not taking positions on this. This is more so to find an edge, find information, and plug it in to existing markets so you can have an edge in these markets. All right, yes, as of recording this, he does speak here in 2 hours and 40 minutes. So you can see here the different stuff. What will Trump say during the honors medal presentation? Woke, Democrat, Biden, affordability, investment, China. And if you read the context of what this is, it's the Kennedy Center Honors Medal presentation. So you can see here, okay, you can plug in it says 40% that he says Biden. I would say probably no. I would have to take the no here. I don't see it during an honors presentation why he would say Biden, right? So that's an example of, okay, yes, he does say it quite a bit, but in this circumstance, why would he say Biden, right? And that's kind of the logic we used yesterday on the speech when we said, why would he say tariff during a FIFA World Cup speech, right? So you can use all of this to your advantage and you can plug all this stuff in. Let's just do one more word here. Let's see about Democrat, because Democrat is favored here. As if he will say it. He says that about 2.7 times per speech, and 52% of his speeches he has said Democrat. So you can take all of this, maneuver it how you want to, look at the context of the speech. You can see here like tariff. I don't know why he would say tariff in this honors medal presentation. For example, he loves the word hottest. That's one I wouldn't take, but just an example, you can use these softwares to get some information on how often he says it. And you can also see the speeches that he says it, right? Here we go. Trump announces a new child savings account for Americans. So he mentioned Democrat there. Trump holds a cabinet meeting. He mentioned Democrat in that speech. Air Force One, whenever he speaks to reporters. When he pardons the Thanksgiving turkey at the White House. Radio interviews Donald Trump for his radio show. So this is more so when he's just open forum speaking, not at a medals presentation. So take it for what you will. You can see which types of speeches he says all of these different things and definitely use that to your advantage. There's another one here on eventquant.com, and it's the mention minor. So you can do the exact same thing. You can type in the person, White House transcripts, Donald Trump interviews, debates, press conferences, Google, remarks, speeches, weekly addresses. You can even do JD Vance. You can do a lot of different things here. You can also do earnings calls. So with companies like Costco, Salesforce, Ulta, Snowflake, they have all of the context here. You can type in any word and see how often they are saying it during these events. Definitely comes in handy. And on top of that, if you want to track money flow coming into certain markets, I would absolutely recommend predictshark.io. You can track live feed of how much money is going into these active markets. And we're just going to, randomly choose one here. Okay. I'm going to let this refresh. $714 position here. So a little bit more size. You can see on this market, Iowa State Cyclones versus the Purdue Boilermakers. You can see that there's $42,000 in volume, and there's $21,000 buying on Iowa State and $17,000 buying on Purdue. So you can just kind of see money flow here. There's 58 yes holders and 59 no holders. So this is a good tool to just kind of see where the money is without having to like dig into. If you open this up, you can see the order book, but sometimes people aren't so privy on reading the order book accurately. So you can just go to PredictShark and actually see. So someone's putting money on this one here. This is ongoing currently. So BYU and Texas Tech. This is a much more liquid market. Let's just take a look here. We see a lot of money on Texas Tech, 484,000. So you can see most people are on Texas Tech, 403. But also the no, which would technically be BYU, is actually catching up because it is an underdog. So people see that as a trade that can make them a little more profit if it was to come through. Two more tools that I think you could use to your advantage. pp.tools. This is more so just basic. This is built by a community member from Kalshi, but you can see new market alerts, P&L charts from different traders, market search tools, random market finders, and also you can type in a certain market, and you can also see market dashboard and alerts on certain markets if big trades come in, etc. And also, when it comes to prediction markets, don't be too good to use AI. A lot of the times you can find a lot of good stuff here utilizing ChatGPT, just asking some questions about certain events. So let's just say I'm going to use this event today. So if you are trying to potentially place a position on the Trump speech today, and maybe you're like, what the heck is this honors medal presentation? Well, let's let AI tell us. So let's just type in, copy, paste. What is the event, the honors medal presentation that Trump is speaking at today? Like, what is it, right? Just figure out the context of the event. And you can see here, it'll say thinking, it'll spit out the answer here in just a second. AI sometimes takes its time. So we will see here, important ceremony, maybe the Medal of Freedom, keeping in mind that the date is December 6th. And there we go. So what is it? It is a ceremony where President Trump presents the Kennedy Center Honors medallions to the 2025 honorees for lifetime contributions to American culture through the performing arts. The honorees this year, you can see, Sylvester Stallone, George Strait, Kiss, etc. So, you can kind of take that context and say, hey, all right, why would he say Biden at this medal ceremony? And especially with Hollywood actors that potentially could have leaned to the left. There's a lot of agendas, right, of why would he say certain things. So you can take all of this information, utilize AI, get information on the speeches, utilize these tools. So this is an active example of how to find an edge and plug in that information to your advantage. So that is just an example of 4 different softwares that I would implore you use to potentially get ahead and be able to capitalize on these different markets. I might take some positions on this just to be quite honest with you. So that is a great way of plugging in info actively on an open market coming up today, for example. And even when this video comes out, if this market has already resulted, you can backtest and see exactly what words were said. And if we use the context correctly, I would probably say he doesn't say the word Biden. I just don't see that happening. So that would be like the one position I'd really want to take on that market today, just given the fact that what it is, the context. I just don't see why at the Kennedy Center Honors Medallion ceremony that he would be saying the word Biden in that context, right? So that's what I would be looking at in that specific market. And also, don't be afraid to follow some sharp minds on Twitter, right? Obviously, I'm not going to say I'm the best prediction markets trader. I'm up $1,200 lifetime, which would be based on my volume. I think ROI is like 4 to 5% based off my volume. But ROI on my investment, I'm up 5x. I only deposited $250 when I started my Kalshi journey. But other than myself, if you aren't already following me, Prediction Market Trader, he goes live every single day almost. And as you can see here, his past 4 weeks, he's up about $11,000. He's doing a 100K challenge right now, and he's at $72,000 in profit. Very good guy to just watch his streams, see how he thinks. You can ask him questions as well. So that's definitely an account I would recommend to follow. And he actively uses Kalshi. So I use Kalshi exclusively. That is all I use. I don't use Polymarket at this point in time. I'm full on Kalshi, so definitely a good one to follow there. 𝗘𝗱𝗴𝗲, he is a really good mentions market trader. So as you can see here, he tweets a lot about different mention markets, and he's really on top of it as far as the information. He actually had a really good interview as well with 𝗬𝗏𝗏 Eats Bodega. 𝗬𝗏𝗏 does great prediction market content as well. He is, also doing a challenge here. He's had his ups and downs, but very sharp analysis on the markets, and you can learn from all of these different traders extremely easily. And the last one I would recommend to follow is Foster. He just hit $400,000 in profit, so he's number 95 in P&L. And he's also the creator of this tool here, pp.tools. So just to sum it up, you can find an edge in any market, okay? Doesn't matter what it is. You can find an edge across any industry, any niche. You can do weather, you can do health, you can do culture, crypto, politics, sports. It doesn't matter. So for me, like I said, it's sports and mentions markets. That's where I'm really dialed in on right now. If we just look at my portfolio, and I guess here's an opportunity to give a couple of updates. So we took on the last live stream, Dak Prescott to lead the league in passing yards this season. We took that at 41 cents. This is now sitting at 65 cents. So we're actually up quite nicely on that position. I did take Texas Tech today, and it looks like they probably just scored because they are now trading at 96%. We bought that at 82 cents or 83 cents, so that's very nice. This weekend I have the Rams at 82 cents, Denver Broncos at 79 cents, as well as tonight in the UFC, I have 𝗵𝗏 against 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 at 79 cents. Some longer term trades. I have which brands will advertise during the Super Bowl. This is pretty straightforward to me. Coinbase always does these crazy, philosophical ads during big events. I don't see how Coinbase doesn't do another Super Bowl ad. They do it every single year, and their ads are actually awesome. Like, they make fire advertisements during the Super Bowl. And OpenAI, I don't know if you guys have been noticing, but ChatGPT commercials have been all over the place in the last month. I definitely see OpenAI and Sam Altman advertising this year during the Super Bowl, just given their uptick in advertising currently. And then today during Georgia, Alabama, I have them to say yes on rivalry schedule, because they're going to be talking about strength of schedule for the college football playoffs and who should get in. Texas's schedule was hard. They're gonna say schedule, who's on the schedule or who was on someone's schedule, their big wins, etc. Yes to turf. They're playing on turf. I think they might say turf. And then what a catch. I said no, because this has not been coming through recently. So that I did do no on what a catch. And I also have Scottie Scheffler to win the Hero World Challenge. Now, the one thing I will say, do not just copy trade anybody. It doesn't matter who it is, okay? Someone gets in a market at 40 cents, like we did the Dak Prescott one, for example. Do not just run to the Kalshi and take it at 65 cents. That's not the point, right? It's the same thing in crypto. If I buy something at $2 and I still like it at $5, that does not mean go buy it at $5 every single time. You have to make your own assessment, as with prediction markets, as with crypto, etc. So, I would never implore you to just copy trade someone, ever. However, you can follow smart traders, see what their edge is, find out what they're looking at, utilize these tools that we talked about in this video. And honestly, I think this is going to be a very helpful one, especially as we did an analysis on a market that is today. So you can literally backtrack and backtest the information right as this ends, right? So the Trump speech today, we utilize some of these mentioned tools, and we'll see what happens. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I think it's a really good recap of what to look for in markets, how to find your edge. Stick to the ones that you like. Like I said, if we just go to my public profile, it's telling, right? I should not be doing certain markets. And you find that for yourself. Delve into a few things, right? you can literally deposit $50, $100 and just play around with $5 positions until you figure out what you're privy to, and then double down in that sector, because this is just trading, but it's just trading of everything, right? You can find an advantage. We found ours here on the channel, and we're going to be updating you for the foreseeable future. I just think prediction markets are going to be one of the biggest industries in the world, and I want this to be one of the go-to places on YouTube for information and how to find an edge in the prediction market trenches. Like I said, if you aren't already on Kalshi, hit the link down below in the description. We have a deposit and trade 10 and get $10 offer for you down below, and we will see you on the next one. As always, like the video, subscribe. You can follow my public profile on Kalshi as well. My name is just 𝗪𝗛𝗡. I don't hide anything. It's fully transparent. And I'll see y'all on the next one. As always, play well, my friends. Trade responsibly and stay bullish, my friends.